waffle pancake debate, I would always pick pancakes.
Yeah, thank you. This is why we get on well.
I'm not saying I'd pick it over.
It's been implied.
But then also it has to be the right kind of pancake. It has to be like a thick American style.
A hot cake.
Crepes don't do shit for me.
Honestly.
Like they can stuff a crepe. They can fold a crepe and stuff a crepe as much as they want.
Yeah, it's dead.
But it's basically giving me nothing.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I want to when I'm consuming a pancake, I want my jaw to be throbbing, and I want to feel like I'm losing years off my life because of how thick it is.
Well, I'm like,
that's good.
I did a pancake eating challenge at the Breakfast Club, which had to do 12 of their thick pancakes in 12 minutes.
That's horrendous. I can do it.
And literally my jaw was fucked after it.
You can do that. You're quite good at eating.
I got to 10, realised I wasn't going to make the 12, and just gave up with like 30 seconds to go because I had 2 left and I wasn't going to do 2 in 30 seconds. But the size of the pancakes at the Oxford one compared to the competition pancakes they were giving out at the London ones was like they were way bigger. They knew we were filming it. They wanted us to fail.
Things I didn't think I'd hear today. Competition pancake.
Look, I'm sorry. Get your head out of the gutter, guys. Come on now. You wait. I reckon by episode 10 we're doing a pancake eating contest.
Yeah, that would work.
The audio quality of that would be fantastic.
All I'm saying is episode 20 we're going to be making enough money from this that we're actually going to be doing an episode in Hawaii.
Well, technically we should make amazing money off this because that's why you're here. You're the cash cow.
Yeah,
I've got no money, guys. I think I've lost it.
No.
You're gonna make us big to your incredible, following on YouTube. Surely your interest, you must obviously want to elevate this to a higher level.
Hi guys, if you've come from my YouTube channel and you're here, how do you tolerate me multiple times a week? It blows my mind. I can't even tolerate myself. There we go.
And now there's 3 of us to tolerate.
And I hate them equally. It's mad.
Okay, good. Well, we've established Harry's many different personas that he brings to the table. Right, what are we talking about today? So you have some questions, don't you?
I feel like we should give a background. Who are we? Because at the moment, no one actually knows
we haven't actually introduced ourselves. This was supposed to be the preamble where I only started recording just in case.
Mike, Mummy's angry.
This is a meeting. This is a band meeting.
Yeah. Band name. We've got a band name.
Band meeting. Oh yeah. So we're calling the show Pump Fiction.
Yeah, I respect it.
Yep.
Everyone else get it?
Obviously,
Pulp Fiction.
Pulp Fiction. We use the word pump. Pump is synonymous with the gym. Fiction because it's basically we talk the stories and shit, and not everything we say is necessarily true. It's just how we feel about things.
Mm-hmm.
It's an opinion, not necessarily fact.
Yeah. Well, you're the king of you. That's your get out clause at all times, isn't it?
Well, if I present things like, by the way, this is fact, and suddenly I'm going to get influencer name I will not mention publicly messaging me saying, yeah, I'm going to sue you for defamation. I'm like, how dare you insult my intelligence? Like, that's happened actually. That's actually happened a few times. I'm like, this person's...
Who was it?
I can't say names because...
What does it rhyme with?
I'm not going to say it. Well, she blocked me anyway, so everyone's blocked me.
Oh my God, she blocked me.
Oh my God, yeah,
blocked. Yeah, well, she messaged me saying she's going to get her lawyer
Big
involved.
Moves.
And then her
lawyers.
Yeah, I know. And then her husband got involved as well. Started sending me, considering they got a very large platform, hurling lots of swear words.
It wasn't DLB, was it?
No, she didn't respond to me.
Oh, okay.
It was someone I think you know who it is, but I'm not going to say it because
I'm trying to think. Someone who has a husband, like Lauren Drain has a husband.
I'll tell you after.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, but yeah,
okay, fine.
They got very angry with lawyers, and I'll say like that's literally not. I've given an opinion. There's no defamation there. Like you.
What did you say that?
I just said, in my opinion, based on what I'm observing, I feel there's a higher likelihood she is taking something than not taking something.
I see.
That's it. And she was like,
God forbid.
Oh, you've dated.
Is she Australian?
No, she's American.
Okay.
20 questions.
As soon as I see 110% natural in the bio, immediately I was there like, yeah, really? I love it.
Before we carry on with this, because clearly this is now the show, and I hadn't planned for this to be the show immediately, but this is now the show.
No.
Hi guys.
Hello everyone.
Welcome.
Should we just do the intro music now, and then we can carry on and introduce ourselves formally and just make it the show? Just to say that we're going to be doing some Q&A in this show, which has been submitted by the members of the delightful East Park Gym.
Shout out.
Shout out the gym, wearing the t-shirt.
That will become more relevant as to why when we introduce ourselves.
I haven't been home yet. I'm in to work.
Guys,
stink.
He's angry.
We're trying to. We can talk bullshit once the intro's done, but we need to get to that part first. Do I have to be like the grown up in the room? I am the oldest, but
you are old.
Okay, we can get to that again when we introduce ourselves. But let's just do the intro and let's get on with it, shall we? Okay, welcome everyone. This is the formal introduction. Hello everyone and welcome to the inaugural episode of Pump Fiction.
Did you get it? Pump Fiction? Yeah, there we go.
My name is Chris D. Fellows and to my left is...
Mike Carter.
Mike Carter. Howlin' Mad Mike over there.
Hello, I'm Lord Harold of TFNL.
On my right, yeah, so Harry...
I had to make the introduction slightly different. I wanted to be unique because my mum tells me I'm unique often.
So Harry Moore...
Hello, that is me.
Is that your last name?
Yeah, Moore, M-O-R-E. Please don't find me on Facebook.
You're not on Facebook.
Yeah, I am. I don't really use it, but I'm on Facebook. I've been on Facebook since Facebook came out of the womb. Do you know what I mean? I'm getting...
I'm going to say that I will have been on Facebook longer than both of you because obviously I was, I invented it.
Yeah, that's true. I was on Bebo. Do you remember Bebo?
Did disrespect me again? Do I remember Bebo? I used to collect those love hearts like you wouldn't believe. And then I'm actually remember on Bebo you could like send people hearts.
No.
Oh well, back in the day you could. And this I'm calling you out, Rachel. I know I haven't spoken to you for like 10 years, if not 15 years. But you had more hearts than me, and it pissed me off like you wouldn't believe. I used to go around school asking people to send me their hearts.
Say what?
Yeah, literally. I'm still 15 years later. I'm still pissed off about that.
Yeah, we got sounds.
Who was in your top 10? Do you remember you could do top 10?
Oh, I couldn't even remember. All I remember is that on my Bebo page, it was very Wemo, and I had like a GIF of the Welcome to Black Parade, My Chemical Romance play. It was a cool. I stole it from a woman named Jenna Bird. I stole it from her profile. Sorry, Jenna, shout you out. I did steal it, even though I denied it. And more about MySpace as well. I had MySpace.
See, I was about to bring MySpace to the party.
Yeah.
My band had a band MySpace profile.
Yeah, why wouldn't it? And MySpace was where the bands were going.
Exactly.
That's why I got Drop Dead Gorgeous from.
Did you ever use your friends list as like a passive-aggressive way to show someone you were annoyed at them? I remember on Bebo you could literally move your people out of your top 10. So if you didn't like them...
That's so toxic.
Yeah, my school...
Didn't MySpace have a top 10 like friends as well? Or was it top 5? I can't remember.
Was it Tom, the founder?
Funny story. Yeah. A friend of mine, you might be listening to this, from TFNL, actually went on a date recently with Tom from MySpace.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah.
Don't... Pump Fiction, everyone.
Yeah. No, honestly, we had a chat. She messaged me, like, you'll never guess what. I said, what? She goes, I matched with someone on Tinder who was Tom from MySpace. Didn't believe them. Met up with them. It's Tom from MySpace.
Do you have the same picture of the white shirt?
Yeah.
Does he walk in wearing
he's got a beard now.
Does he wear a t-shirt with that photo on it at all
I
times?
don't know, but I didn't ask that much detail. But he has a beard now and lots of money. Apparently he's a very nice guy.
I wonder how much he made from MySpace.
I remember it was a lot more than you
work.
would think. Google it. Go on, fact check, please.
I mean, I have a computer in front of me.
That's
but
true.
I think you can be fact checker. You need to be... That's your job for future shows.
Brilliant.
Mike.
What pressure.
What's my job?
Making up stuff about your friends.
I'll get the Discord chat up right now.
What do you want to bring to the table? Because we are sat at a table, so you can bring something to it.
Joy and happiness.
Good.
Guess how old Tom from MySpace is?
37. I don't know.
51.
Is he?
There is. That's the
that
picture.
photo, man.
I mean, a classic. Why don't we recreate that?
Any youthful people who never heard of MySpace, do look up Tom from MySpace just to understand what we're talking about.
Probably the most iconic photo on the internet ever.
It basically was... Because Facebook was deemed like not cool. I mean, it's not cool anymore, really. But
yeah, it's peaked, unfortunately.
It has peaked. MySpace was cool, I guess.
It was kind of edgy.
Anyway, we haven't come here today to talk about MySpace, Bebo, and all that stuff.
Go on, tell me how much money.
How much do you think he sold it
I was
for in 2005?
I was going to say 200 mil. More.
Really? I'm going to go with 700 million.
No, $580 million.
I didn't think MySpace was that relevant. Do you know what I mean?
Must be laughing now.
Hey, look, Martin, the money-saving expert, sold that website for 170 million.
No, he didn't.
Did he?
Yeah, he's worth all that money, and he just goes on TV and spouts about how to, collect club car vouchers and stuff. It's good, right?
I feel like I'm
maybe
missing
we
a
can.
lot of money.
Can we do a really valuable website that we can sell for millions?
Fitness.
No one's talked about that before.
We need something. What else can we do? I need to think about this. Hats.
Whilst you're thinking about that, why don't we go ahead and maybe introduce ourselves, given that this is the first episode, and thank you for making the effort to download it, to listen to it on your downloadable device. Mike, would you like to go ahead and go first?
What do you want to know? Interview me.
Okay, Mike, to be fair, I don't even know you that well. But essentially, we all met through this place that we're sat in right now, which is East Park Gym. We're in a delightful room out the back of East Park Gym, connected to the hotel, which is a very nice hotel called
East Hampstead Park Hotel.
Cool. So therefore, the gym was called East Park to shorten it. Is that a reference to South Park?
No, I just thought this sounded quite cool. But South Park.
Guess what his name on COD is? My name's East Park Mike.
Oh yeah, you two.
I just had to.
Yeah, of course he did.
So you two are the kids that still play computer games, right?
Absolutely.
He's a lot better than me, to be fair. He sweats hard on this game.
Literally physically and in the game
Aren't
as well.
you both in your 30s and you're still
I'm
playing?
27. The disrespect. What has just occurred here? You popping up, Grandpa? You want to throw hands? You want to throw hands?
Throw hands.
Grandpa, let's go.
Have you ever thrown hands in your life?
Absolutely not. I'm probably the least violent person you'll ever
You've
meet.
got big hands as well.
We've got room in here for wrestling because this is like a meeting room, and there's a clear floor that we could establish some Greco-Roman rules in here.
When we make our first meal, we'll wrestle on camera.
Fine. I'm okay with that. But going back to Mike, so you created East Park Gym, which we're all very grateful for because that's why we're here now.
Yeah. What do you want to know about it?
Well, not necessarily about it. Tell us about you. I mean, what's your background? What gives you the fucking right to sit here on a podcast and give your opinions, Mike?
Mum said a bad word.
I assume we're allowed to swear on this podcast.
Yeah, of course we can swear on this podcast. Where did it all start for me? Well, I actually didn't like fitness when I was a lot younger. I didn't play any sports or anything.
I haven't got any sad music to play over this.
You should.
I can sing.
Go on.
No, sorry. Just carry on. Please carry on.
I don't do it.
And I just kind of fell into the fitness industry, really. It was something that I wanted to be a teacher, actually. But then I couldn't stand children. So I was like, maybe I shouldn't be a teacher then. And I remember my college tutor was like, well, you can always just go into the fitness industry. Which actually now is part of the reason why the fitness industry is a bit shit.
Because you entered it.
Thank you. That fiction, pump fiction, actually.
Facts.
And, well, it was just something I didn't really enjoy at university. And then by the end, I was like, well, I've done this now for 3 years, so I might as well just carry on. And I think I just got incredibly lucky. I was just the wrong person, right time, just in all these different projects. And, I've worked for all the big kind of chains before, and I stumbled across the investors for the hotel actually at one of these gyms that I ran. It was a shout out to Pure Gym in Oxford. I was actually cleaning a treadmill, which is actually the story I used to say to my coaches.
We've all been there.
Yeah,
I've cleaned a treadmill before. Yeah.
I've never cleaned a treadmill.
Have you not?
It's a lot harder than you might think.
Do you not just hold a towel at the back of it and turn it on?
There's a lot of things that go into it. You've got to take bits apart because they get messy.
You got to hoover under it as well.
Yeah, it gets gammy.
It's disgusting under there.
Good.
So that's actually the story I used to say to my coaches. You never know who's watching. So I was just cleaning a treadmill. Some guy came up to me and said,
wow, you clean that treadmill so good.
Actually, he said to me, he was like, I want to speak to a manager. And obviously when you hear that, you think Karen immediately, like, oh God, what's happened now? And he's actually, no, I want to know how this business runs. And I was like, oh shit, maybe this guy's a mystery shopper. So I was like, I gave him the whole lowdown. I didn't give him any company secrets or anything. I just said, this is how the company runs. He said, great, I want to open one of these in China. I was like, right. He's like, if I pay for you to come over there, will you come over to China? And I was like...
At this point, I would think he wanted to fuck you, to be honest.
You know what? And when he offered to take me out for dinner to talk about it, I was like, this is probably what's going to happen to me now.
And you were still on board, so...
Yeah, I still went with it. And then it wasn't probably until the plane tickets arrived, I was like, oh shit, this is happening.
You're going to sit next to me on the plane?
I get scared. I'll be, not about that, but not going to China randomly. I'll be absolutely pooping my pants.
Well... Yeah, I was pooing my pants a little bit, but it was a long flight, so...
It's good to... Fair play to you for just running with it.
Yeah, I respect
what it was? I just got to... I think I was like 25. I just thought, I just need to do something different. So I went out there for 2 weeks, and they liked me, and I just thought, you know what, they actually need me to help run this thing.
They really need me.
And I sat there, and I drew out a business plan, and I gave it to them on my last day and said, if you want me to move here, I will. And they emailed me like 3 days later, and I was like, if you can come over at the end of the year, we'll relocate you. And I stayed out there for a year.
Sweet.
In Shanghai.
What a bloody experience.
What a bloody experience, as Harry so eloquently put. Yeah. So,
and then it was actually the investor in that owns this. And when it all kind of went a bit tits up, we came back here and he said, actually, I've got a job for you when you want to come back to the country, and I want you to open a gym for me at one of the hotels. And then it just kind of went from there, really.
Well, lovely stuff. So yeah, so you have much gym experience to share and to contribute to the table. You're quite experienced, an experienced lifter yourself?
I haven't really done anything spectacular, but I've coached for 12 years, so I'd like to think that counts
means
for something.
You've seen quite a lot in fitness. If you've coached for 12 years, definitely you've coached for longer than myself and Harry ever have. So there
you've coached for longer than I've actually been into lifting.
There you go.
Really?
Yeah, I've not been lifting 12 years.
Segue
into Harry. You were a fucking meme, weren't you? That was how you started.
Oh, okay. So here's the funny thing. What is that? The gym memes thing?
Yeah.
Basically, we actually don't know if that's me. We just said because basically,
hang on a minute. I need some context. Give me something
I don't know if you'll be able to find it now. It's deep. I've got it on my phone somewhere. I have to go find it. But it's so deep in the archives. I don't know if I have to look.
Deep in the archives.
I've got about 3,500 photos on my phone that I've never looked at. It's mad.
I got nearly 100,000 photos on my phone. Apparently,
you need a life.
Well, it does. It's an archive that goes back to like 2010. So.
Well, basically, what happened is a picture went viral on the old gym memes, and a few people sent to me saying, "Harry, is this you?" And I looked at it, I was like, "Hang on a second, is this me?" Same T-shirt, same bracelets, same piercings, literally everything.
Hang on a minute. There's a lot to unpack here. Bracelets.
Yeah, I just like the
festival bracelets.
No. I've never been
Classic.
to a festival. They had like Live Strong bracelets back in the day.
Oh, the rubber band ones. And remember those?
Yeah, the black and white one, which was to combat racism. And then that picture went. I was like, yeah, so I emailed them. I was like, is it? Hang on, that might be me. And they didn't reply. So I was like, all right, no sweat. And then randomly, 2 weeks later, I wake up to like 80 followers on Instagram. I was like, what's happened? And then Jim Meme shared it, just tagged me in it.
So what was the meme?
It was just a
skinny kid who basically got swole.
It was more just a skinny kid. Initially it was just a skinny kid goes to gym for the first time. The only reason I was like, I don't think it is me is because I don't think I'd ever used that bicep curl machine before. So I was a bit like, But then...
How do you not know if a photo is of you?
I was going to say, that's the thing that's baffled me here.
It was like 8 years beforehand. I was like that.
I'm sorry, but if someone's... I
don't know if people take pictures of me.
It doesn't matter how old you are. You know if it's you.
Yeah. Honestly, you know your own fucking face.
Yes.
And it looks like me, but I don't recall ever having that photo.
We'll recover that.
And then they tagged me in that, and then they sent me an email a few days later saying, "Can we see some like context?" I sent them a picture of me wearing the same T-shirt and everything, and then a picture of what I look like now. And again, no reply.
That's your whole career's built off this.
No, I only got 100 followers from that total, so it feels bad. I think TFNL had already started at this point.
So explain TFNL, please.
Hi, TFNL's my YouTube channel, which used to be shared amongst friends, but now it's just me because they don't love me and they left me. That's pretty much what happened.
But what does TFNL stand for?
So basically, TFNL stands for Team for Never Lean, and this initially was established for a few reasons. It kind of came across because at the time we were very much into powerlifting, and there this kind of, I think, association around like fitness. You had to be lean all the time
to be, creditable.
Yeah, you had to be shredded to be relevant.
You didn't have abs. It's like, what are you talking
if you weren't shredded year round. And we kind of said, like, that's a really unrealistic expectation to put on people of all genders to be shredded year round, which is also not actually sustainable. So then, obviously, powerlifters typically, in a lot of cases, have higher levels of body fat percentage because obviously the bigger guys, obviously,
performance based.
Yeah, basically. Yeah. So we were like, okay, well, the fitness industry says to be successful we have to look this way, but we want to be successful in this, so we're going to be for Never Lean, and then we became Team for Never Lean and TFNL.
So you lent into that basically.
Yeah, pretty much, and then they just ran from there, and then we kind of liked the name, and we started as like a bit of a joke because we weren't stuck on that name initially. That was like what we called our group chat, and then we were like, oh, we'll start a YouTube channel, and we were thinking of all these names, like what should we call the YouTube channel? We couldn't think of anything. I was like, we'll put Team for Never Lean there as a placeholder until we think of something better, and then we just never thought of something better.
There you go. And now it's just you on
now
YouTube.
It's just me. As of the last 2 years, it's just me.
And that seems to be the key to your success.
The first, I think, year and a half, 2 years after going solo was crap. It was a steady decline, regressively underloading often, and then it just picked up in March this year, and suddenly I feel happy again.
So you've got a lovely niche of followers. You're building up nicely, and you're talking about really useful stuff, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely love it. It's literally the highlight of my week.
Good.
It's a great time.
Good. So you've got plenty of experience.
I hope so.
Good.
I hope so.
So you got lots of powerlifting stuff and just general knowledge about the body and developing and fitness and health. And
I bloody hope so. I've done it for enough years. I'd like to think so.
Good.
What about go on, Chris? What about you? Who are you?
Why
are you here?
Why am I here?
Who are you?
Who am I? So I am Chris D. Fellows. I put the D in there many years ago just because Chris Fellows was already taken on social media, so I put my middle name in.
You watched Django Unchained and realised the D was silent. So you did.
Fine.
Yeah.
Yep. So that's me. I've been bodybuilding, I suppose, for the last over 10 years. I have done lots of competitions. I have coached other competitors to the Arnold Classic and things like that, and international shows. And I also do another podcast, funnily enough, called The Pose Down with an IFBB pro called Ryan John Baptiste.
Hi, Ryan.
Hi, Ryan. We never met, but hi.
I've worked with some other great people like Martin Ford and people like that, who's quite well known and stuff.
He's in the movie with the fast cars.
Big guy.
I know who this guy is. He is enormous.
He's massive.
Martin's massive. Yeah, he's a lovely guy though. He's really nice.
Taught him everything he knows.
Yeah, he's very fun to train with. He just literally just loves shouting and screaming at people. I've done some stuff with Mark Bell in Sacramento. That was good.
I remember that.
You remember that?
That's cool.
So yeah, I've been around. I've touched on many different aspects of fitness. I've worked with supplement companies. I've done social media and all that sort of stuff for marketing and that for supplement companies. So yeah, that's me pretty much. And I'm a podcaster, so I'm essentially here to keep you fuckers organised.
Oh, definitely.
That introduction was far more concise than ours.
It's almost like I've given it some fucking thought.
Look, when in doubt, wing it.
Although I will say now, obviously, now I know the two of you a bit better, I actually think the three of us, there's a trifecta. We offer a lot.
It's like Top Gear.
Yeah,
it is.
On paper, you're like, oh, I'm not sure this works, but in reality, oh, it does. And look at us now.
Who's who out of the Top Gear? I mean, are we talking Top Gear of old or Top Gear of new?
Don't disrespect me again, please.
I couldn't even tell you who's in the
Yeah, honestly, I've watched...
Isn't Joey from Friends in it?
Yeah, he did.
No, he did it for a bit and then they sacked it off and now it's basically just washed up presenters like Paddy McGuinness, Freddie Flintoff, and an actual guy who knows a lot about cars, Chris Harris. He's
he's actually all right. Chris is
he's the best thing about that show because he actually does know cars and know how to drive them as well, because you need a bit of that.
But yeah, we're definitely old
school. So you're probably May.
Am I that boring?
I don't know.
I'm the life of the party.
You've got that kind of like posh kind of toffee side to you.
I'm saying Chris is Hammond because he's 3 foot tall.
I was going to say, I was happy to put that out there. I'm 5'8", thank you.
So that makes me the grumpy one then.
It makes you Clarkson, the kind of Tory. I don't know. Yeah,
grumpy one.
But that's also probably accurate at times as well.
I would say so. No, I do. No, I think that's a fair comment. I do have a face of thunder sometimes.
Interestingly, you mentioned height because I saw a fact on Uber Facts today.
Go on, here we go. Must be legit.
We assume that Uber Facts are all legit.
100%.
It said, actually, I did actually...
What's Uber Facts?
It used to be a Twitter page that just came up with amazing facts.
In my head when it was like Uber, like Uber Eats and then just Uber. It's like
every time you get an Uber card, they just give you a fact.
Facts.
Yeah, I mean, it essentially does send you facts just via social media.
There you go.
So the fact stated that on average, a person who is 6 feet tall earns nearly $166,000 more during a 30-year career than someone who is 5'5" tall.
Interesting.
And I've always thought this, right? I've always said if I was 6 foot instead of 5'8", I feel like, not that I don't feel I've been successful in my life. I feel like imagine what I could have achieved if I was that 6 foot, that perfect height.
I wonder how. Yeah,
I'm trying to think how you could dissect it. Do you reckon it's I'm trying to think how one could perceive it and why that might occur. Do you reckon that could be due to like social hierarchies of success and dominance through height and like?
Essentially, you put me down at just now based on my height
because I love you.
Oh, I see. So it's almost like
it's a subconscious thing. You see a short person, you put them down for being short, and therefore that filters through into...
They get overlooked, excuse the pun.
There you go. Overlooked. I mean, yeah. Do you see what you did there?
I see what you did there.
That's horrible.
That was quite funny.
I mean, I don't really want to start this podcast with a culture of bullying, okay?
No, definitely not. Not after the video that we've just done.
Oh, yeah, we need to talk about that. We'll talk about that afterwards.
So, yeah, I mean, that is essentially bullying because you two did a video, but evidently I wasn't good enough to be called up for it.
So Chris is that guy where you say, Chris, sorry, I don't play Warzone with you. Then he calls his mum and said, Mum, they're bullying me.
Yes.
That's Chris.
That's what I'll do, if I have to.
Israel, Mike just gets topless and plays Warzone.
Is that how you do the Call of Duty thing? You play topless?
Yeah, definitely.
I don't know how you do that. I'm 4 layers. Like now, 4 layers.
You got the same 4 layers you were on earlier.
Yeah, because I just came from the gym. Well, I went to the gym, then I went to work. I came back here to the gym again.
Okay, fine.
He wants to throw hands.
Good. So we've done introductions. We've established why we're here, and the whole point of this podcast is hopefully to, be entertaining, but also bring information and knowledge to a variation of people of different levels, whether you're starting out or whether you're, well established. We've got some serious knowledge to bring to this small table we're sat around currently.
Definitely.
Yes.
Are we satisfied with that?
I
agree.
That's a good summary.
I concur.
And as we will have some other features that we'll bring in, talking about supplements. We'll bring guests onto this podcast as well. We have big plans for it, but we're not going to overwhelm you and try and attempt to be great at everything straight away, because we're finding our feet right now. So to speak.
Yes, that's what we're doing.
And so that is why, based on Mike's fabulous gym that we all go to, East Park, shout out East Park, in the Bracknell area of Berkshire, if you're listening. Hi, everyone. I'm the guy who wears wacky sneakers all the time.
Sneakers.
Yep. Harry's the one who wears leggings all the time.
Leggings and XXL large T-shirts that sometimes feature Hannah Montana, Lizzie McGuire, all sorts.
And Mike's basically the manager, basically. That's quite easy. Yeah? Good.
Yeah, I'm just the guy that's there.
The guy with the long hair.
Long hair, yes. And currently moustache for November, which hopefully will go at the end of the month.
I kind of like it. I'd keep it.
The beard's coming.
It's the only reason it looks okay now is because the beard is surrounding it.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I'll tell you who's got what. Tom's moustache is, honestly, I'm going to shake. If his moustache had a hand, I'd shake it. Phenomenal.
It's been like that for about 3 days.
Tom's moustache suits him better than... Alex's moustache also suits him exceptionally well,
You've seen Tom's dad?
Yeah, he's like Selleck. He's pure Selleck.
The most elegant moustache I've ever seen. Honestly, I look at this man and think, you are a god.
Did you see that on Instagram for one of the updates? We actually just used Tom's dad's picture.
That's quite funny.
Rather than Tom.
Do you know what's mad? I didn't even notice because basically the same person.
Yep.
Chip off the old block. But yeah, Mike, so you have asked the lovely disciples of East Park for their questions, and you can pick and choose from those, and we're not going to ramble on too long, but let's cover some ground whilst we're here, and let's do
some facts.
Do some stuff.
Some fitness facts. Right.
So what are we going to call this? Is this what are we going to call this section?
Future.
The mic drop, given that it's Mike.
Oh, I see what you did there.
He's dropping questions on us.
That's quite good. Did you think of that off the dome? You've been playing that for a few days.
It's in there. His name plays into that quite well.
You've got a gift, sir. You've got a gift.
So this, and we can do this every month or every 2 weeks, or what are we saying?
I'm game for whenever. If you want to do it, every 2 weeks.
I'll do whatever.
Okay,
let's see how
fine.
the first episode goes first. Might get everyone say, "Yeah, please don't do that."
Let's do. I'll have to create a little intro for the mic drop in that case, but I don't have anything. I can give you I can give you a little bit of background music if that would help you actually whilst you're doing.
Okay.
We're the 3 best friends.
Given that this is like Pulp Fiction music, right? But it's played on a piano by someone else, so it doesn't infringe on copyright.
Oh yeah, we'd love a bit of copyright. YouTube punches me in the face a lot for that. Well, not anymore. It used to.
Anyway, do you want to bring in some? I'm going to play that very quietly, in fact.
Right, so let's start with one that's not too heavy. The biggest problem with the fitness industry and
can you deliver that? Can you deliver that with a bit more? Can you give some more to that? Can you do that again?
I can try.
Can you and also say who the handle is? We need their.
Are we shouting people out?
Are we going to shout?
Oh, go on.
Okay, so this one's from Scott Jackson. So his handle's Scott.JacksonFit.
Nice.
2 J's.
2 J's.
Yeah, so he might have had the same problem with you with social media.
But then he's got dots in there. So why does he need 2 J's if he's got dots?
So it's Scott.2J's Jackson.
Double J.
Double J.
LL Cool. Maybe. JJ Cool Scott.
We could ask him.
Okay, let's go for it.
So he's asked the biggest problem with the fitness industry and social media right now. So I'm assuming he means
what is the biggest problem in the fitness industry with caused by social media, essentially.
Pretty much.
That's.
Start with an easy one.
Where do we begin, boys?
Because Harry's here for a start.
Nice to meet you.
Well, that's why I picked this one, because I think we've got.
Where to go?
So your niche. Let's be honest. Your niche on your YouTube channel is basically calling out people on social media.
I think it's more about debunking and maybe giving a different perspective on things and maybe correcting misinformation, because that's probably why I would say the biggest problem is the amount of misinformation out there. Prime example, I have an occasional beef with people.
I'm fading the music down. Carry on.
Yeah, Chris, you'll jump in on this as a bodybuilder. So, prime example, I did a video on Blogilates and spoke about how she was stating how to like grow the biceps. You do a push-up.
Sorry?
Yeah, exactly. Hear me out. So obviously, so you did supinated grip, obviously close to the body, blah, 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 all these bits and bobs. And then you break it down, biomechanics of things. Yes, the biceps assist in shoulder elevation, but obviously the primary movers of a pressing variation for the arms, it could be the triceps, for elbow extension, fantastic. The amount of people I got jumping in saying, actually, they assist in shoulder elevation, which is sufficient for bicep hypertrophy. So I've never seen a bodybuilder do a front raise for a bicep for their biceps, and then you bring out, well, I do loads of pressing for my biceps, and it's good enough. I was like, but what, define good enough? Quantify that. Talk to me. Explain. It's like, sure, it assists, but if you want to optimize the ability of muscle in an if you want to optimize the ability of a muscle,
isolation.
Well, you basically prioritize movements that focus on the primary function of that muscle.
Yeah.
So for the biceps, it'll be movements that prioritize elbow flexion. And they were like, yeah, well, if you look at ring gymnasts, they've got massive biceps. I was like, because they do a lot of pulling variations. And oh my lord, guess what the elbows do in pulling variations? Flexion. It's mad. And then, but because this influencer,
do that again.
A little bit of flexion.
He's got good mic control.
He has.
But because this influencer, being Blogilates, shout out you blocked me, never going to get over that. She obviously pushed this as like a bicep dominant movement. Everyone's like, yeah, but she's got great arms. This is why. But they do this. They do this.
That's annoys me. That pre-qualifier. It's like, but they look great. It's like,
yeah, fantastic. It looks great. But it doesn't mean that they know what they're doing. And in addition to that, it almost sends people down the rabbit hole of, look, the statement I made was in the like kind of regarding optimizing. Sure, you will get some kind of assistance of the biceps through the shoulder elevation, but that's assistance. We're talking about optimizing the ability of muscle, which was implied from her workout. Therefore, to optimize it, you do movements that involve the primary function. Yeah, well, she disagrees. I'm like, well, she's wrong, unfortunately.
I mean, ultimately, you are entitled to an opinion, but that does sound like she is fundamentally wrong.
And obviously, as whatever we're stating is merely opinion.
Do you think it's one of those things where there's just nothing original anymore? So people are just trying to come up with things that make them sound like, oh, look at this thing.
I mean, magazines and now social media have been reinventing the wheel for years, just because they're all looking for a new way to spin. Essentially, like the thing that annoys me, one of the things that annoys me about social media, going back to the question, is essentially people seem to neglect the basics, the fundamentals, for the sake of finding something new. And which is why you see all these Instagram only exercises that all the kids seem to do in the gyms these days, and foregoing the actual basics and mastering those basics. So the curtsy lunge, for example, just do a normal lunge.
Yeah, what's wrong with the normal lunge?
Get really good at a normal lunge and then look at doing a bizarre variation of a normal lunge.
Do you know what's mad is I find a lot of people are like, okay, well, the squat, we like the squat, but how can I make the squat more Instagrammable? So I'm a hop on, yeah, literally that's where I was going. I'm a hop on a Bosuble, but I'm going to go one. I'm going to Bosuble on each of my feet. Yeah, that's that's wild. And then I do this, and honestly, I look at you, I'm thinking, if I saw that gym, I'm popping that Bosuble.
Exactly.
Facts.
Yeah.
Honestly, but it's like what we know is that basic shit works. It doesn't need to be that complicated. It's like, okay, go to the gym, stick to basic movements, especially if you're a beginner. Learn how to do the basic movements properly, because if you can squat properly, you could probably leg press pretty well. You could probably hack squat pretty well. You get the basics that way, and just do more each week. That's all it is. One
thing I will point out is Harry's background is fundamentally powerlifting, right?
Hello. Yes.
And my background is fundamentally bodybuilding. I would say that Harry's body is just as developed, if not more so, than mine.
He's a very nice man. Thank you.
I mean, you are a bigger boy compared to me.
Here comes the butt.
You are a bigger boy compared to me. No, there is no butt.
There is no butt because I have no glutes. That's where the butt is.
But what I'm going to say, but what I mean is, the fundamentals of powerlifting are very basic. But there isn't. I mean, I need to fully assess you naked. We can do that later.
That's a dream come true.
But I haven't established any desperately weak points in you, if that makes sense, that powerlifting has neglected.
My glutes. That's just facts.
But is that not because you just didn't do any hip thrusts?
Facts.
And
okay, when I was powerlifting, I'm extremely quad dominant, which is causing so many problems. That's probably why my knees exploded.
100%.
Because obviously the deadlift is obviously a good posterior chain movement, but it's not really sufficient in comparison to things like the RDL, things like that, which is going to be far more hamstring and arguably more glute dominant as well. But when you neglect doing so, well, I'm deadlifting, I don't need to RDL because I kind of got lazy with it. My sessions are 3 hours anyway, I can't be asked to do any more. It's like, well,
that 4 hours just
literally, I was like, it's just too much now. And that's why my posterior chain is wildly underdeveloped, which I'm trying to correct now. So yeah, the basics are good, but I think it's almost like they need to. I always used to preach it, but I didn't practice it. Is that powerlifters can learn a lot from bodybuilders, and bodybuilders can learn a lot from powerlifters. Yeah,
that's great.
Like bodybuilders need to prioritize in a lot of cases is lifting heavy. One of the fundamentals of gaining muscle is mechanical tension, which comes from progressive overload. But powerlifters also need to understand that a bigger muscle has the potential to be a stronger muscle. Therefore, doing bodybuilding movements like the lying leg curl, like hip thrust, for example, are going to have such a carryover to your squat and your deadlift. So why would you neglect them? Like, accessory work is important. Don't just squat, bench, and deadlift and go home because it took you long enough. That's what I did, and here we are.
You're paying the price.
I am paying the price.
But that's the problem with the different parts of the industry is, like, especially when you train for different sports, is they're just so purist about what they want to do.
But there are so many similarities. It's like CrossFitters are really good at compound movements. Powerlifters are really good at compound movements. Bodybuilders are also really good at compound movements. But what do they do? Okay, powerlifters are stronger. Okay, maybe bodybuilders can focus on getting a bit stronger. Bodybuilders are bigger, do a bit more accessory work, and maybe powerlifters could do that, etc. There are so many kind of crossovers, but also so many like slight variations of the path or deviations from the path that I think each respective sport could benefit from adopting.
Do you think each sport as well is because when you actually ask someone to define what fitness means to them, you've got all these different sports. So,
it's heavily biased what they like to do.
They're always trying to like justify why their sport. He's like, you speak to someone who's like a little bit out of shape. They're like, well, I do powerlifting, and powerlifting's really great because this and this. So I do wonder if there's a bit of that going on.
There's definitely some like bias towards the sport that you associate with. Because like I'm saying, when I was powerlifting, I was like, oh, powerlifting is the best thing in the world. And I can neglect other things because I'm lifting heavy, therefore I don't need to do all these.
That's the ultimate aim, though, isn't it? Just to be stronger. They don't care about aesthetics. No. Whereas when I first started out in bodybuilding, I was obviously interested in getting stronger, but ultimately I was trying to enhance muscles in an even way to bring a particular aesthetic. I just wanted to look good naked.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Because obviously I transitioned to bodybuilding, and that's the big thing I kind of only recently really kind of identified, is that it's not just about getting bigger, it's about getting bigger proportionally.
Correct. Yeah.
So like my coach, for example, Will was like, well, why are we limiting volume on that movement? Surely you want everything to get bigger, because we want it all to get bigger. But if that continues getting much bigger than everything else, you're going to look a bit silly on stage.
Ridiculous.
Also, so we want to grow proportionally. If you were perfectly balanced, then we could train things equally, obviously with sufficient volume. But because they're not, so we need to do this more and this less. And I'm like, oh my Lord, it makes sense.
That's a lot of the problems with these cookie cutter programs on social media as well, because they just spread the volume out to make everything even, but obviously not everyone's created evenly, are they?
I mean, the social media off-the-shelf plan, I think it's great for those starting out, but like essentially if you really are looking to get the most out of your physique, your training in any discipline, whether it be powerlifting or bodybuilding or crossfitting, then you need someone to hone in, look at you as an individual, and you could take an off-the-shelf plan and have someone amend it to suit you better.
Oh, definitely.
But unless you're looking for a particular plan to focus on a particular thing, let's say you wanted a workout to develop your glutes, there's nothing wrong with getting a glute focused plan, because that's the whole point of it. But if you buy a plan designed to develop your whole body, that plan hasn't taken into consideration what areas you're stronger in than others.
Absolutely. So, for example, if I did a plan that was to develop my whole body evenly, my quads, because they, genetically they respond better, my quads would kind of far surpass my posterior chain, which they already have, but that gap would just get bigger and bigger. It's like, okay, you need to address that. Reduce quad volume, increase posterior chain volume. Shorten it. If you go for this kind of generic, let's do everything approach, if you have underlying imbalances, you are likely going to enhance them. But flip around, if you are a beginner, just get into the gym. Like, you don't know what your imbalances are
and
yet.
The problem with the beginners is they don't understand the nuance. They don't understand that they're going to have imbalances, because I see it in the gym all the time. The clients that I assess, people are blown away about when you do a movement assessment with them, and they're like, I had no idea that wasn't working properly. And the trouble is, they do these programs, they just follow them to the T. Well, not everyone does, but anyone that actually follows it all the way through, and they just create more problems. I mean, I agree with you. Like, it's better than nothing. Like, it's good to start there,
Mm.
but I just think something personalised for your body.
Absolutely. If you're
is
serious,
always gonna-
if you're serious about it, you're always going to get 50% more if it's focused on you, the individual, and also you've got someone overseeing that progress in person.
100%.
But yeah, I mean, there's a time and a place for those kind of things. But but one of the other things that social media for me has really changed is the impatience of people.
Massively.
Social media is ultimately creating impatience because people need to look like that guy straight away. They've only just got into the gym, but they expect results quickly. So therefore they're impatient and they don't understand why, they think they can build muscle overnight because, they need to, they want to. They can pay on Amazon Prime for something to be delivered tomorrow. Why can't I pay for my body to become a bit quicker?
I think the sad reality is that paired with how normalized certain things are on social media has created quite
drugs?
Yeah, pretty much, which has created quite an issue with the younger generation.
The younger generation are on so much gear right now. It's insane.
It's honestly, like, me, I never speak about my natural status because it's irrelevant. Like, my physique and my brand is not built on what I look like. That's why I never wear a t-shirt or never wear revealing clothing in videos.
He's always naked. Never wears a t-shirt.
Yeah, never.
He's always naked.
I'm always a triple X large t-shirt or hoodie gang. But I see a lot of young women as well, especially on TikTok, that have kind of seen all these young TikTokers who are
so young, isn't he? He's on TikTok.
I'm down with the kids.
TikTok.
I'm so glad we brought Harry here.
Me too.
Look, I'm down with the kids. I can provide a different insight.
He gets this.
And so many of them look unreal. Like, I look at them like, wow, that's it. For 18 years old, you look like that. That's unbelievable. I know you're enhanced, and half of them either really open about enhancements and kind of make it jest, like they joke about it, which then normalizes it, or the other half deny it. It's like, well, this half of normalized gear. So the other half's like, I want to look like you now, but you're claiming you've done it naturally. Therefore, I'm going to hop on these SARMs and do this and this. It's like, you're 18 years old and you're pissing around with the hormones of your body. Like, grow up. It's like, sort your shit out.
They probably won't if they keep.
Yeah, honestly, and I don't care. Like, gender aside, because I see a lot of women now on TikTok pissing around with SARMs as well. I think unless you are going to step on stage and have the potential to be an Olympia competitor, do not even think about pissing around with that like gear at that age.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. They need to look good for that, that week they're spending, on the beach or whatever, so they can get the photo for their Instagram.
Do you know how normalised it is? Because I remember I was at school, so I was like 17, and a lot of like the group at school went to where'd they go, like Malia or something, like one of those like party.
That'll do, yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, something like that.
Insert
and
party.
Obviously I didn't go because I'm far too socially awkward, and I'm like, do you know what I mean? It's just not my thing. But I know multiple of them. Some of them never even stepped foot in the gym. Were taking things like clenbuterol to get ready for.
Lean, yeah.
And I was like, do you know how taxing that is on the heart? But it was so, even then before social media, Instagram wasn't a thing. But then, like, we didn't really piss around with YouTube much. I had a YouTube channel for fingerboarding. Yeah, fact. Yeah, yeah, that's coming later. We'll bring that up.
I'm going to write that in my notes.
Fingerboarding is not a filth act.
Even clenbuterol was normalised back then, and it's just got so much worse. And obviously, in hindsight, you're 17 years old, 16 years old, and you're pissing around with stuff like that. Like, what's going on? Yeah,
that's the dark side of social media, where because you can follow anyone around the world, you can follow 100 people who are in better shape than you, and it makes you think like they're like that all the time.
Look at my following list on Instagram and see how many influencers I follow. 0. I do not follow a single influencer on social media because it just makes me feel like shit.
Well, there's always going to be someone in the world that's going to be in peak shape.
100%.
And if you follow enough of those people, that's going to make you think that everyone around you is in good shape all of the time.
Yeah, 100%.
That's going to make you feel like shit all of the time.
I nearly hopped on gear when I was 18. I always said, I started training just after my 16th birthday, and I said, I want to look amazing, so I contemplated, I was like, maybe I'll do my first cycle at 18, just get massive in one cycle and then just not do it again. Obviously I didn't, but I was like, the fact that was even something that came to my mind was a bit like, this is concerning.
Sorry, we're just adjusting the air conditioning in the room just to not interfere with the audio quality. It's all right, it's fine.
I switched off.
You don't have to make a big deal out of it, it's fine. But yeah, so I can imagine that a lot of people would have not given much thought into the side effects of jumping on it at an early age.
Yeah, I think realistically, the thing people don't understand is like, there's obviously a comparison. PEDs aren't as bad as alcohol. It's like, well, you've got to look at the comparison. Like, a lot more people drink than take PEDs. So that sample size is much bigger. But also, we don't really know what the long-term effects are, and we don't really know how much of an impact it has when you're younger versus when you're a bit older. Like, if you hop on gear at 18, let's say you do a couple of years of gear, and you risk permanently shutting down your natural production of testosterone, do you want to be 20 years old taking TRT? You don't know what's going to happen in the future.
So TRT is...
testosterone replacement therapy, meaning you're going to have to inject yourself with testosterone, potentially multiple times a week, maybe once a week, once every 10 days, it depends.
And that's something you just have to do, isn't it?
For life.
That's it.
For life.
Gonads shut down.
And that's the thing, you also, it's not the thing like, if you just don't do it, you'll be fine. There's a lot of potential for other issues to occur from having low testosterone. Like, we know how negative having low testosterone can be, especially even considering like mental health complications. Low testosterone can have quite a negative impact on your mental health. I
did hear a stat, I don't know how true it is. It was just about testosterone levels and saying how like the average 21-year-old has the testosterone levels of like a 60-year-old from like 10 years ago.
Sweet
or something
deal.
ridiculous.
So does that mean kids aren't banging each other very much these days?
Well, this is it. Like,
I'll tell you one thing. I guarantee erectile dysfunction. This is kind of relevant. I guarantee erectile dysfunction is through the roof these days for young people because true story. I remember listening to a TED talk about this. Like, pornography promotes such unrealistic expectations of sex, and people would
don't say.
Yeah, literally. But then
something
people would actually
fabricated for our entertainment.
I know,
isn't real.
It's madness.
What?
And then people would actively choose to watch porn.
Do you have
interact with their partner?
Do you have any stepbrothers or sisters?
I actually do have a stepbrother. Yeah.
Christ.
Oh no. That's why I retired from watching porn. When
retired.
I quit porn like 5 years ago.
Did you make that announcement like publicly? You've retired.
Basically, I think porn's bad for you. So
I did on another podcast. I did hear about I think it was
moderation
in the States where they said that ED is massive now with kids in their 20s. And like the amount of prescriptions now that have to be put out for these pills just to get their dick up.
Wow, good chat. I mean, I didn't realise we were going to be talking about getting your dick up on this podcast.
This all came from anabolics. Well, basically, kind of going back to where we were going with this is
social media
is promoting a lot of, first of all, misinformation, and also normalising a lot of things that shouldn't be normalised and negating the risk of those things that are being normalised.
My final thought on this before we move on to the next question is choose your inspiration very wisely. Now, social media and YouTube is an incredible resource for learning brilliant things. Like you can learn some incredible stuff about about the body, about training, about rehabilitating, about rest, about stretching, about anything you want.
Like on the TFNL YouTube channel. Okay,
I mean, are we going to have to ban you from doing that? Or I mean, to be fair, as long as you promote this on that channel, you're allowed to do that.
It'll slap in the description as soon as this goes live. Listen to my podcast.
That's absolutely marvelous. But yeah, so choose your inspiration wisely. Make sure that the people that you're following actually give good sound information as opposed to just influencers who are selling you shit they're paid to sell and don't have a great background in the anatomy or training or that sort of thing. You can learn great things, just be very careful.
I think the thing is, if you're consuming content and for whatever reason that negatively impacts your self-esteem, your body image, your mental health, then it's not like content worth consuming. Like if you consume it and you feel bad about yourself after consuming it, unfollow them, block them, do whatever you need to do. If you consume it and you feel like, this content makes me feel better, I'm learning something, I feel like what I'm trying to do is achievable, everything's great, then cool, consume it. But if it's bad for you, bin it off. Not worth it.
Happy with those answers, Mike?
Quality over quantity.
I would say so.
Good answers, Mike.
Amazing.
Right, next question, Mike.
Next question. Okay, so we got one here from Dominic W. Joyce, no dot in this one.
Dominic W. Joyce. Oh, so he's gone with my method of middle naming initial.
He has indeed.
Oh, good lad.
He said, eating after a certain time of night is bad for you / leads to weight gain ?
Bin.
You were binning that question?
That was in the bin. That myth.
Bin.
That kind of like, that's that whole kind of no carbs after 6 p.m. crap.
I'm surprised that one is still around. But
It will always be around.
I think it just goes to show
your body does not suddenly think at 6 p.m. Oh, you know what? Can't stick at 6 p.m.
Let's store
that fat because we may never eat again. Do you know what I mean? Like that, just no.
Interestingly, I had this exact kind of question brought up to me over the weekend at dinner. So, like they asked me about my eating habits, and then they were like, "Oh," because they said they had their last meal at like 6:30, 7 o'clock, and I said I pretty much eat the same as you, but then I'll have another one at 10 o'clock before I go to bed. They're like, "What? How can you eat that late at night? Do you not get fat by doing that?" And it's like, well, no.
Go home.
Because
calorie balance.
Ultimately, no, because your body's biggest, healing and growth phase is essentially when you're sleeping, right? So therefore, fuel that process. If you go to sleep hungry, when your body, wants to recover, it's got nothing to call on for energy to do that job.
I think ultimately, I wonder who. I bet it was a magazine. I bet the magazines made this.
I think that was like an 80s, 90s thing.
The no carbs after 6 p.m. thing.
I think even in the early 2000s, people were starting to get the message on it. And surely in bodybuilding, that was never the message in bodybuilding ever.
Ultimately, the biggest
people were getting up in the middle of the night to eat back then.
Jay Cutler used to literally sleep for 4 hours, wake up, eat, go again. Like ultimately, the big thing to consider in its simplest form is calories. Calories in versus calories out. If you're in a deficit, you're likely to lose weight. If you're in a surplus, you're likely to gain weight. If you're claiming you're in a deficit but you're not losing weight, you're probably not in a deficit, to be honest. But ultimately, it doesn't matter when you get calories in. Meal timing for most people is not that important. Just space out throughout the day. Don't eat all your calories at 10 in the morning and starve yourself to the next morning. Probably going to have a bad time. But you don't have to stress about like not being able to eat after certain times or making sure you eat at this time. Just get your food in.
A lot of these are about calorie restriction, isn't it? The whole like don't eat carbs, I think eat keto, like all these
every
things.
Single fad diet you will have come across will essentially boil down to one thing, and that is a calorie deficit.
Literally. Yep. It's just how sustainable is that for you? It's like, okay, well, I'm going to go keto because I'm not going to eat carbs. It's like, okay, fantastic. First of all, you're in a calorie deficit. Wow, who would have thought? Second of all, can you stick to it? Oh, no, I bottled after 3 weeks because I love carbs. Okay, imagine you could be in a calorie deficit and eat carbs. They're like, no, you're lying to me. That baffles me. I'm a magician.
And after 6 as well.
I know, it's shocking behaviour.
Tease me.
Honestly, I'm calling my sister out on this. Pig. I call my sister, my sister's name is Pig because she's got...
Actually, or...
Well, her name is Georgina, but my mum calls her Pig because she's got... because I know 6 up there, and she calls me Rat because apparently I look like a rat.
Your mother has basically created a systemic kind of backbone of bullying in your household growing up. What the fuck is wrong with your mum?
She's adopted it. So she went on a holiday and she went to New York and she captioned the album Pig in the City. I was like, that's quite funny. And I remember back in the day, it's before holidays, she'd be full on no carbs before marbs, and I was like, please stop this behaviour. And obviously I'm her brother, she wouldn't listen to me. It's like, imagine I've been trained to qualify for so many years, but if I say, Pig, you know what, you can eat carbs, she'll be like, no, I can't.
I don't know how you can start a sentence by calling someone Pig and then
she calls me Rat
and then talk about food.
It's been like this since I was maybe 4 years old, and that's when she called me Rat.
Everything is beautifully explained, so that's great
because we're very close friends. But yeah, there are so many things along those lines that I think people can't quite understand. It comes from like almost Instagramming content, making something that's simple more complicated for the content. Same with this. It's like, you know what, calorie deficit is actually a really simple concept to understand. But you know what, you don't want to promote simple on social media. We want to promote confusing. Same on the magazines. Imagine if a magazine in the 80s came out and said, eat less, move more, you'll lose weight. Everyone would be like, no.
They'd sell one copy and then they would never
literally. Where they're going to upsell from that? You can't go anywhere.
There needs to, clickbait's existed for as long as time as itself.
100%.
Science says that if you eat carbs past 6:59, you may lose all your weight. And like, oh my God, you lied to me. First you said I won't lose weight if I eat carbs off 6. Now you tell me I will. Oh my God.
I think essentially going back to the key question here is about eating food late at night.
It's okay. Don't worry about it if you're hungry.
No, but then even if you're looking to diet, it doesn't matter when you eat. That, as you were saying, it doesn't matter when you do it. It doesn't matter if you're gaining weight or looking to lose weight. Eating, before bed is actually a very good thing to be doing. Just because it keeps everything regulated, it keeps everything moving nicely, your digestion, all those sorts of things, and you'll sleep better. Like the one thing I can speak from in experience is when I have dieted for bodybuilding competitions and photo shoots, is when I was in calorie deficits, I would go to bed and I'd still eat before bed, but like there'd be no carbs in it, and I wouldn't get my sleep would be bad. And ultimately, I'd wake up more in the night to go to the toilet because essentially the carbs in your body absorb, the fluids. So therefore, you wee more when you're eating less carbs because that absorbs more fluid. So therefore, I was getting up in the night, like twice in the night, like a fucking old man to go to the toilet, and then also I would wake up at probably 5 a.m. every day, starving simply because again you're dieting. So therefore, crazy shock if you then move your carbs that you are allotted closer to when you go to bed, you will sleep better.
Yeah.
And
So
if
therefore,
you sleep, you recover. If you recover, you heal and grow.
correct. So therefore, the takeaway from this is fucking eat before you go to bed, but just pick sensibly. You want fiber. A slow releasing protein is very good. We can talk about this in a supplement section about caseins and slow releasing proteins that can be found in foods. Cottage cheese, the old classic.
Yes.
But essentially it doesn't matter too much, but just don't consume sugary stuff before bed. You don't want to get wired before you go to bed.
And don't drink shed loads of caffeine.
Yeah.
Although actually there is a bit of research coming out saying a little bit of microdosing caffeine before bed, give you a caffeine nap, can be quite good.
I've done that actually on long drives.
That's brave.
I have. Brave. You literally smash back the shot, head straight down, and then just as you wake up, you're like, oh, yeah, let's go.
We don't condone this behaviour.
No, and we've also deviated once again, which seems to be a concurrent theme. I think we've covered that question, Mikey.
We have. Should we do one more?
What's next?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Let's do one more.
We can do some silly ones if there are any silly ones.
How big is Harry's forehead?
5 head.
Could be a 6.
It could be a 6.
Again, bullying. I don't want to encourage this.
That's our default setting. It's
He's
just
saying this.
each other.
He's saying this on record, but when the mics are off, he's the worst.
Mics are off, lights are out. Right, so we got one here from Hoppy.1213.
1,200. Okay, Hoppy. That's nice.
Yep. If you could do one exercise for the rest of your life, what would it be?
Just one.
Just one.
I mean, it's going to be a compound, right?
100% compound. I already know mine. Deadlift.
Okay.
Oh yeah, but can an exercise be like a what about a clean and jerk type thing? Because that's like a deadlift into a press, right?
I consider that an exercise. Yeah.
No, that is
it is an exercise.
One exercise. It is.
It is a movement.
Confirm it is an exercise.
Yeah, we just want to let everyone know
it's in the Olympics.
It is. So it must be an exercise.
So
such an exercise.
A clean and jerk is going to get you pretty much a lot of bang for your buck, isn't it?
As if this man thinks he's got the mobility to do a clean and jerk. That next episode I want to see it.
Which exercise could you wish you could do?
Yeah, literally clean and jerk.
I have trained with one of the top from Sheffield Hallam, like Team GB Olympic lifting coaches, like 8 years ago. But he taught me how to do it, and I could do it. I just didn't carry on with it because I used to fall over a lot.
Can we get a fact check on this? Can we see you do it right now, please? Can we get barbell in here? Sorry, we've got a team of 50 people behind us, guys. Can you bring a barbell in?
I can simulate one now, and you can.
One of the crew, please bring.
Yeah, one of our many.
Assess my technique.
Okay, let's see it right now.
Okay, so
the roast of Chris Fellows, episode 1.
This is the end of his career.
Why are you doing the noob stance?
That's quite wide.
That's a noob stance. Are you Brian Shaw?
I'm not. What's the best?
That's a hat.
I don't know. You're meant to be teaching me. What's going on?
That's a hat that will deadlift that.
Everything. I just remember that
deadlift stance.
You keep it really close to the legs.
Come on.
Then effectively there's a hip bang.
There's a hip bang.
Hip bang. Technical term.
To get it up to here, and then essentially you've got to squat under the bar.
Yeah.
And then drive it up from there, right? But then you're going to probably want to do all that shit as well.
A jerk.
I'm calling that a 2.5 out of 10.
I mean, I'm not going to.
To be fair, the bar went from the floor to there.
The bar didn't exist, to be fair, so I'm not sure it did.
I mean, I can't really. I'm not a coach.
He's sweating already, so you don't see.
I'm worn out from getting out from this seat, if I'm honest with you. Look, I'm not going to be, claiming to be good at it, but, I have experienced some of it, and maybe if it was to be my only fucking lift for the rest of my life, I probably would be all right at it.
I think now hearing your answer, I do actually want to slightly deviate mine because I think I have two answers. I have an exercise I would like to do for the rest of my life, which is a deadlift.
Enjoyment over fun.
Because I love deadlifting because I'm built for it. I've got long arms. I can basically scratch the floor when I'm stood up. But a clean and jerk is probably one of the ones that if you can do it,
see,
there even single leg work there.
I think regarding
stability,
purpose and benefit, considering multiple muscles, clean jerk is obviously probably what I would lean towards as well. Brilliant. Regarding enjoyment,
I think I win this question.
And a movement I would just like to do, it would probably be either a back squat or a hack squat.
Oh, hack squat's nice.
I like a back squat because again it brings a bit more into it. But hack squat makes me feel cooler, and that's what really matters.
So in one of the other questions we talked about imbalances, you already said your quads are huge, so you do a hack squat for the rest of your life. That is the one exercise.
Yeah, but this is enjoyment.
Quads.
Why do you think my quads are overdeveloped?
You wouldn't better wear any trousers.
Yeah, I don't wear trousers anyway.
I mean, you don't anyway.
I wear leggings everywhere. This is
your
enjoyment.
Arms,
this is not
so small.
Oh, wow, the disrespect. This is not considering function on purpose. This is purely enjoyment. What I want to do, not what I should do. It's what I want to do.
I'm surprised you didn't pick like bicep curls or something.
I don't really like training biceps. I don't really enjoy it.
Controversial. Because I see a lot of that going on in the gym.
I just really don't enjoy training biceps. It's probably one of my least favorite muscle groups to train because it hurts. It doesn't feel nice, and it's just I sit there just thinking like, why am I doing this?
So I went from training like having like a whole arm day, obviously noob days, and now I just train like one exercise maybe like 3 times a week. I just do different variations of curls, a couple of sets. Don't go to failure, and that is more than enough. Realistically,
you want to absolutely nail bicep training. Sick. All you have to do is a movement with the shoulder in front of the body, like a preach curl, a movement with the shoulder behind the body, like a incline dumbbell curl, and a movement in which the grip is neutral, like a hammer curl.
Like we did then.
Yeah, you've bloody nailed long head, short head dominant, and brachialis dominant. Oh, you're laughing.
Biceps completed it.
Yeah. Hang on, didn't we establish that a really good press up and a front raise is what?
Oh, we're not bringing this again.
No, that's true.
Yeah, I want to acknowledge. Everyone's like, oh, Harry, you said this. I said we talk about it in the manner of optimizing. Yes, there is assistance there, but it's not enough to promote sufficient hypertrophy.
That's like when people say that good ab training is like back squats.
It's like the way I look at it is like, okay, let's look at people who gain muscle. Like the biggest people who are bodybuilders. Okay, what do they bicep curl for their biceps? Yes. Wow. What's going on? Why do you think their biceps are so big?
Answers in the question.
Good. So we've established what we would choose then.
Yeah, basically, train for enjoyment, not purpose. Because who needs balance and who needs injury-free body?
Fine. Okay. Next question, Michael.
Don't listen. To
Final question.
Final
Michael.
question. Okay. Oh, I haven't got the full username here. I
feel like I know what it's going to be.
You can click on it. Maybe it will, or is it a photo?
I've got a photo.
I've
gone noob. Monique Natasha with a little underscore there.
I think that is the full name. She just put an underscore at the end of her name.
I don't know how to use social media.
Facts.
Is it realistic to be able to get rid of that fat pouch?
I knew it. That
stomach?
was the question. I knew you were going to say. I was like, I knew spot reduction was going to come into there. Is this in the reference to spot reduction? I.e., can you target where you're losing fat, or is this will it ever go?
No. I know. I can see what this question is. It is.
I think. Yeah. Go on.
It's basically like, can you shift? Even if you do lose fat, will you lose the fat around the stomach
if you get lean enough?
Yeah.
Yes. Basically.
However, there is a caveat to that.
Yeah. I'm back in this.
Is if let's say that you came from, let's say you were very, very overweight, and therefore you will have loose skin when you lose weight.
Yeah, that's facts.
Or if you're significantly older, then again you'll have loose skin. The only reason you will never be able to lose it is if it's technically if it's a surplus of skin in that area. The likelihood is that this person is relatively young. And I would imagine that even if they, I would think they'd definitely be able to lose it. Just got to get lean enough.
Yeah, ultimately, if that pouch is due to fat storage, then yes, you can lose it. But if it's due to excess skin, unfortunately, I think the only way to actually lose that is going to be surgery.
I want to add another one as well. If you're a female, sometimes that quote-unquote fat isn't actually fat, it's the uterus.
Yeah, I was going to say it can be the
uterus.
Actually
that bit there.
Have you changed that to Dr. Mike?
No,
he's actually spitting facts. This is true. That kind of
because
bump isn't actually a pouch. It's more like
there's a postural thing as well. Some people have different posture to others, so therefore but you will know if something's hard or not, if that makes sense. If it's tight,
you'd be surprised.
You'd honestly be surprised. The amount of people poke things like, "Can I get rid of this?" It's like, no, that is
this just
part
bloating
of your body.
That's actually your uterus. That's not bloating.
That's the thing I was getting at.
But surely, okay, can you not maybe tighten the abs to tighten up over the?
Oh yeah, definitely, and then sort out the anterior tilt. So if you've got pelvic anterior tilt, you can sort that out.
Butt wink.
Yep, butt wink.
Shout out butt wink.
Yep, learn actually how to brace the core when doing core movements and
tucking the ribs down,
sort out those tight hip flexors and get those glutes working. So you can to some degree.
Basically, yes,
you might just be built a certain way.
That's everybody's different. Like ultimately, if it's a fat pouch, like if it's a pouch of excess fat, like storage, then yes, you can lose it provided you get lean enough. But granted, do you want to get that lean? That very much depends on genetics, how lean you have to get to lose it. If you're looking at like spot reduction, can you target where you're losing fat? No, that is in the bin and has been for a long time. And if it is excess skin or something like the uterus, no, a diet's not going to change that.
Speaking from experience in coaching bikini competitors who've started previous to competing, let's say it's the first time, generally most women will hold fat in different, predominantly in different areas, some more so in the legs, more so in the glutes, more so in the stomach. It just depends on your body type.
It's genetics, yeah.
But ultimately, every single one of them, when they've got lean enough for competition, will all end up looking the same. They will get that. The fat will come off where it wants to come off, when it wants to come off. But ultimately, as long as the scale keeps going down until you get lean enough, eventually you will get exactly what you want.
Yeah.
But you will have to compromise in the sense that you have to get very lean to get it off everywhere. And then I have genuinely noticed, as people reverse diet back to slightly normal states and let's say diet for more competitions and stuff, that fat does tend to evenly distribute a bit more so, I would say. Like I've noticed in a couple of athletes that they started with carrying more fat around the legs, but then when they came out of competition seasons, their fat would then redistribute more evenly throughout the rest of the body. So then you're left with a really nice athletic shape, slightly softer, that still just looks great. I mean, I don't think there's necessarily any fact. That's just what I observed.
Anecdotally.
That's anecdotal for me.
Yeah.
But if you want to lose the fat in any area, you just got to persevere, unfortunately.
Yeah. And be willing to pay the cost, as you say. Like
it's hard, man. It's hard.
Is it worth it? Like ultimately, if it has a negative impact on your quality of life, then I'd probably say no, it's not.
And another anecdotal thing is the more often you get lean. Let's say if you had a competition background, it does get easier. The first time you ever get super lean is always the hardest because your body's just entering new unknown waters. And then once you've got shredded for whatever reason, and then you try it again, it does feel easier just because I don't know. That's again an anecdotal.
Do you think that's something because you obviously understand your body a bit more, so you kind of know what works for you as well?
We can, yeah. I mean that.
It's like the first time you squat 100 kilos, it probably feels really heavy. But the second time you squat 100 kilos, although you're not necessarily stronger, you're now familiar with it. It's not uncharted territory.
That is also true. Like the psychological aspect of it becomes easier because you know what to expect. You can see. You can more clearly see the light at the end of the tunnel with it. But if we ever want to talk about the process and what really goes into competing, if people are considering doing that, we can absolutely do that.
We'll find out next year, won't we?
Yeah, at some point. Yeah, you're going to be doing your first bodybuilding show next year, aren't you?
Apparently, we'll see. It depends if I'm big enough. That's my worry at the moment is not being big enough. So.
Well, you just better start eating a bit more then.
Oh, trust me, I'm there. Yeah, all I do is eat. Life is food at the moment, and I hate it.
Really? Is it that much? How many calories a day are we talking right now?
It's not actually that bad. It's been a lot worse. It's bumping up. At the moment, it's 4.5.
Oh, okay.
But coach is working to progressively putting me on 1,000 grams of carbs.
1,000 grams of carbs. I mean, clean carbs as well.
It's gonna be decent sources. Yeah, like not hammering too
Haribo.
much. Oh, trust me, I don't really like Haribo actually. Also, I want to when I talk about calories, this is if you're listening to this, don't copy what I'm doing. Don't do any of that.
This works for you.
This is what I do, and I don't want to trigger anyone or upset anyone or encourage people to copy what I'm doing. But that is excessive, and arguably it's probably not healthy. Please don't do it.
Well, that's the thing about the spectrum. It's like health, like performance, and that kind of. If you consider getting that lean, like performance, like that is. Like,
it's just.
If you think of health, like being unhealthy at one end, performance is at the other.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's better. It's also unhealthy.
Oh my god! Like the concept of bodybuilding is quite unhealthy in many ways. Like I said this the other day. At the end, the difference between an Olympic athlete or a top performance athlete, they don't care what they look like. They're literally training and eating to be the best at their sport.
They are just a machine, and they're fueling that machine.
But then, in the same sense, we are machines in order to achieve, our bodybuilding status. Whether you be a machine and having to force feed yourself to grow, or whether you're a machine in the sense that you're doing cardio and under eating in order to lose that fat in a kind of methodical way, it's not necessarily healthy. Well, it can be done healthily if it's done over a long period of time. It's the people that rush to try and achieve those goals too quickly.
If you also look at almost like psychological health as well, that is just not healthy. It can promote to a lot of disordered eating, which can then metastasize into like an eating disorder potentially. But bodybuilding is not a healthy pursuit. Arguably needs powerlifting.
I kind of disagree in some ways because there's a lot of great things to be gained from the process of bodybuilding.
Oh, absolutely. Loads of great things, but also some negatives can come along with
the
that.
The disordered side of it comes from having bad mentors and coaches, I think.
And also like a bad personal relationship with food that can contribute to it.
Yeah, you just need someone to, especially if you're new to it, you need someone to guide you through the process in a good way, especially keeping some variation in a diet as well. People who think that the only way to get lean is by eating the same same meals all day every day is absolute nonsense.
Well, that will cause chaos in your body anyway.
I literally do that in a bulk, basically.
Yeah, but but that's because you're in a position whereby you're quite happy to see food as fuel. And
I'm fine with that.
Whereas I've done food. I enjoy the whole business of food and food blogging and all that side of things. I like food, so therefore I've spent many years perfecting the art of getting the meals I enjoy into my diet whilst also achieving the goal of losing fat. And that can be done. You just need to put some time into learning more about food and recipes and I mean, but that's another show in itself.
Kind of on that, talking about kind of people getting into bodybuilding, that was another gripe that I have with the industry, is people want to get lean and coach. I've seen this happen in a lot of gyms that I worked in. People kind of don't want to use the word predatory because it's a little bit extreme, but it's almost like people think they need to get into competing to get the body they want. So it's almost like people start down the path of getting a little bit leaner, and it's you should compete, you should go into competition.
Yeah, that's bad.
And it's almost like,
do you know what I like? I quite like it when people, because ultimately the worst thing you can do is go into the gym, I think, without a bit of a goal.
Oh, no, definitely.
So therefore, the people who are in there day in, day out, and there isn't really, because the best way to achieve what you want is periodizing, whether that be getting lean, periods of gaining muscle, because you can't do those at the same time. Setting yourself a goal. Okay, I'm going to try and tighten up for the next 8 weeks, and then I'm going to give my body a break, and then where I kind of go back to eating normal like maintenance amounts, and then I might go at it again. But it's a lot of people who just go to the gym and do the same thing without real focus. That's where they get a bit lost, if that makes sense. So therefore, I think setting yourself, I can't remember why we got onto this subject now. Setting yourself a goal is, for me, is a great. Oh, that was what I was going to say. A photo shoot, I think, for people who are new to it. Like I don't like the photo like when people get a PT that does a photo shoot challenge and it challenges them to, beat. There are prizes at the end of it. I think that's bollocks, because ultimately, I agree a photo shoot is a good goal for people because it gives them something to hold, something to an end product, something they can look at the end and go, I committed to that for, let's say, 8 to 12 weeks or however long you want to do it. The longer the better, because the slow and steady wins the race as far as I'm concerned. But they've got something to show for it at the end, and it makes them focused. Because if you go to the gym and you haven't got a goal, you're just dreaming.
Well, it's like if I say get in the car and drive. Okay, where are you driving to? No. Someone
told me I should.
Yeah, it's like, okay, well, I'm just driving. It's okay, well, do you know where you're going? No. Do you know how you're going to get there? No. So, okay.
Do you know how much fuel you need?
Do you essentially see the goal as a destination. If I say get in the car and drive to Edinburgh, you think about what's the best way of getting to Edinburgh. So in the gym, going to the gym, okay, what's your goal? Okay, I want to achieve this in 6 months. Okay, what's the best way to get there?
Yeah,
there you
absolutely.
Go. Nailed it.
But the photo shoot, again, it just means that, like, when, like you were going back to saying, people say, oh, you should compete. Well, that ultimately can create a whole manner of problems, because at the end of that, when you do that competition, there's a whole group of people that essentially judge you for the work you've put in. And what gives them the right to judge you? Like, I remember one year I didn't compete, I just did a photo shoot, because my mindset was like, I had, as a natural competitor, I struggled against non-natural competitors, as you might imagine, and also guys, black guys with incredible genetics. Shout out, they always look insanely good. Like Ryan, my co-presenter, is in amazing genetics, which is why he's had a fabulous career.
I've seen him in person. He came to East Park once, and considering he weighs less than I do, he's an absolute mutant. He's bloody huge. I looked, I was like, how does this man weigh less than me?
But so therefore, for me, like, over the years, I did bodybuilding shows because that was my love and I enjoyed doing it. And it took me like 6 competitions to get, maybe 5 competitions to pick up a second place trophy, which I was delighted with.
As you should be.
But the amount of work that went into it, and also that feeling of not doing well in a competition, isn't nice. Okay, because
of course, yeah.
Because you might kid yourself and say, "Oh, I'm only doing this for me." But when the competition actually comes, when the competition day comes, you want to do well, and you went there to get a trophy, and why shouldn't you? But then when you come away from it and someone's judged you and made you feel bad about all that work you've done, That's not good for me. So therefore, a photo shoot, right? You've put in as much hard work as you can in that time. You committed to it. Maybe you had a few off days because life got in the way. Fine.
It's life.
But then you've got some photos that are taken in a very flattering light. They make you look the best you can possibly look. And at the end of it, you can say, no one, and everyone you show those photos to are going to be like, well done.
Yeah, of course they will.
And therefore you feel good about it. And that's why I think if you're considering doing competition, maybe consider doing something else first, such as a photo shoot, as a better alternative.
Yeah, definitely. And that wasn't me poo-pooing on bodybuilding.
No, not at all. I realise that. But I've experienced the highs and lows of it.
Yeah.
And unless you're... The situation with bodybuilding now, there are properly tested federations, but even then, even in properly tested federations, there would be people that weren't lifetime naturals on there.
And even then, properly tested, World Anti-Doping Agency can't clear everything. If they did, then the Olympics would be clean. Look at Icarus; they kind of slaughtered that.
Yeah,
so considering the World Anti-Doping Agency absolutely got rinsed from that. And realistically, drug tested doesn't mean drug free. I think you'd be surprised at how many people in tested federations, not just, I mean, like everything.
Yeah.
And I know a few of them personally. It's even in things like the Commonwealth Games and higher up than that. I know some personally who are actively, when they were competing, dabbling with the stuff,
the sauce,
and they're. We don't really need to go into details.
That's another story.
Drugs in professional sports.
That's another episode.
That's a whole episode.
Yeah. Basically, watch Icarus on Netflix. It's mad.
Anyway, I think.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
I think that's it for the first episode. Unless there's any, do we have like any other business, like any kind of humour that we can finish with, or do we feel like we've delivered enough kind of banter along? I don't know. There's not really a lot to say other than drawing back to fingerboarding.
I'll bring this back. So basically, my username.
It's not a euphemism.
You know, Doormat Face is my Warzone account.
I do indeed. It did make me giggle.
My YouTube username for fingerboarding was Doormat Face 2008, and I used to. You know, like fingerboards.
So just quickly, is it tech decks?
Don't you disrespect me with that.
Is it tech decks?
Don't disrespect me. You think I piss around with tech decks? Okay, tech decks are like the starting strength. That's like the start of what you first dabble with.
When I started this podcast, I wanted people to take us seriously. And, we've already started with like gaming and Call of Duty stuff, and now we're moving on to little mini skateboards.
Look, here's the thing: fingerboarding is far deeper than just plastic skateboards. Look, my fingerboards. I had a carbon fiber base. They were all wooden. I don't piss around with plastic.
Can I just clarify? You spent money on these things.
Honestly, I was a sponsored. Fingerboard. I got free.
Get in the bin.
Honestly, shout out Beast Fingerboards. They sponsored me.
No, they did.
Yeah, I got free stuff. I actually got rid of
as well.
Honestly,
little apparel for your fingers.
I had all sorts there. Honestly, the amount of money, the bearings alone, and like the wheels of the bearing, were like 40 quid.
No,
I went to Germany.
Professional finger blaster.
I went to Germany to go to a fingerboard store in Germany. And I bought a Berlinwood Extra Wide, which was the fingerboard I desired my whole life. I spent 50 quid on that.
I'd respect you more if it was real skateboarding.
I used to skateboard as well.
Well, that's fine.
There's actually a video of me on YouTube at 15 years old teaching how to do a kickflip. It's still on there.
Can you, as a man over 100 kilos, do a kickflip these days?
I reckon if you give me
a reinforced
less
board.
than a week, I could do it.
Okay, that's your challenge for the next one. In here... I have a skateboard anymore. I got rid of it. Someone needs to source you a skateboard for the next show.
If you're listening to this, please, can you make it a good one? Because I'm not. You think I'm going to disrespect me with a Toys R Us skateboard? No, I want the £250 girl deck, Richter wheels.
Birdcage or whatever.
I want the good stuff. I want Thunder trucks.
Fine.
That's what
these just all sound like words. I didn't do skating.
I loved it. I lived for it.
We've gone down a horrendous wormhole, but. It's been a good one. I feel. I've enjoyed the first show. I'd say.
It's because I'm here.
Yeah, I'm just gonna bring a little bit of backdrop here. Just say it's been good.
That's nice.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm on an elevator. Where are we going, boys?
There's a lot of things you've mentioned in this podcast I want to get the links to because I want to put them in the show notes because I feel like people need to see context.
So Mike, you are going to do a fabulous job of bringing this to the wider community for us, right?
Yes.
My job as producer, your job is putting it out promoter,
yeah.
And Harry is what the fuck are you doing?
You're
Harry?
kind of
I'm
like
the blade star of the show, mate.
Are you the hype man?
I'm the one that brings the enjoyment, the happiness here. I'm the joy bringer.
Cash cow. You need to get a little cow sound effect so we can just every time he talks, you can just moo moo.
Yes.
I feel disrespected by my friends.
Ratty finger blaster over there. So this has been episode 1 of Pump fiction.
One of one, probably the last. Let's find out.
Well, yeah, hopefully. I mean, we're going to need to get at least 20 listens. We're going to, 100 listens? We need 100 listens to do another one, right?
That's just us alone. We can do that.
Okay, fine.
Just leave it on.
I mean, I've
play it in the gym.
I've had fun regardless.
I've enjoyed it.
I have enjoyed myself.
I guess until next time, I've been Christy Fellows. You have been Howling Mad Mike. Mic drop. And you have been...
Who have I been?
Harry Moore, evidently. Or Harry...
That's anticlimactic, isn't it?
Ratface fingerballs.
Ratface finger blaster over there.
I don't like this game anymore. I want to go home.
I mean, what was it? Doormat face?
Doormat face finger blaster.
Look, it's intimidating, okay? Doormat face is intimidating.
If you say so. Anyway, on that note, thank you for listening, everyone. And just tune in. Please do submit questions for future episodes and anything you'd like to see or hear. And thanks for listening and good night. Say good night, guys.
Thanks for tolerating us. Bye. Love you.
Thank you. We will be better.